Hello everyone, good day to you all. This presentation is from Group 5. I am Gracini Balaba together with my co-reporters Maclean Tugap, Ken Alfred Maquinano, and John Andrew Sale. And we're going to be discussing another type of pollution. But before we dive into our main topic, let's have a quick recap about pollution. Pollution. Pollution is the introduction of harmful substances or contaminants into the environment, which can cause negative effects on living organisms and natural resources. When we think about pollution, the most common types that comes to our mind are air, land pollution, water pollution. So those type of pollutions are we often see. And those are visibles, making it easier to see how they affect the environment and our health. But there's another type of pollution that's a bit different. It's a type of pollution that we can see but affects us daily, and that is the noise pollution. So, what is noise pollution? Noise pollution is defined as unwanted or harmful sounds in the environment. It originates from various sources and can disrupt normal activities such as sleep, communication, and relaxation. Noise pollution is a type of energy pollution characterized by distracting, irritating, or damaging sounds that are freely audible. Unlike physical particles, noise pollution consists of sound waves that interfere with naturally occurring sounds in the environment. So lahi siya sa uban nga pollution, okay? Mostly sa mga pollution na mga particles nga atong makita, physical particles atong makita, atong mahawidan. For example, sa land pollutions, sa solid waste, mga basura, sa water pollution, na sa mga basura, makita nato ang mga kanang hugaw nga tubig like mga oils and other mga contaminants. And sa air, makita nato nga abo kayo. And this type of pollution, noise pollution, is dili siya nato makita kundi makanang madunggan na nato. And it's distracting, kanang mairita ka, maminaw. And so noise pollution is any external noise that causes irritation to an individual ears. It is underrated environment problem because the fact that we can see, smell, or taste it. So, the World Health Organization stated that noise must be recognized as major threat to human well-being. Even though we can't see it, noise pollution can be just as harmful as other types. And it's important to understand its sources, effects, and how we can reduce it. So, where does all this noise actually come from? Noise pollution can come from many different sources, and we can break it down into a few main categories based on where the noise is generated. Here it is. So we have the first one, the industrial noise. Industrial noise is originating from industrial activities such as manufacturing, construction, and other large-scale mechanical operations. This noise is often continuous and loud due to machinery and equipment, affecting both workers and nearby residents. Some of the examples are sounds from factories, heavy machinery, construction sites, equipment like compressors and generators. And there's also a underwater noise from industrial activities like offshore drilling, sonar testing, and shipping operations affecting the marine life. And the second one, we have the environmental noise. It is generated by natural and outdoor sources in the environment, often including the transportation systems, natural sounds, and urban outdoor activities. Environmental noise can be seasonal or recurring and is typically beyond individual control. And the examples are aircraft noise from airplanes and helicopters, roadway noise from traffic such as cars, buses, and trucks, sounds from airports, seaports, and railways, natural weather-related sounds like thunderstorms and high winds. And the third one is the social noise. It is generated from social events and gatherings, often related to recreational activities or events where large number of people gather. Social noise can be sporadic, but sometimes reaches high volumes levels, particularly in densely populated areas. Some of the examples are loud music from concerts, festivals, and parties, noise from sports events, parades, and rallies, and general sounds from crowded public places like restaurants, bars, and shopping malls. And the last one is the residential noise. Residential noise produced within or near residential areas, often stemming from household activities, appliances, or personal behavior. Residential noise is usually localized and can cause disturbance for nearby residents. And the examples are sounds from household appliances like washing machines, lawn mowers, and vacuum cleaners. Noise from pets such as barking dogs. Noise from personal activities like playing loud music, home renovation, and small gatherings at home. Now that we know where noise pollution comes from, let's talk about what actually makes a sound noise. What's the difference between sound and noise? Here it is. So, let's explore the difference between sound and noise. Sound is any vibration that travels through air or any medium or another medium and reaches our ears, allowing us to hear it. Sound can be anything from music, laughter, and speech to natural sounds like birds chirping or the rustling of leaves. These sounds are usually organized and often pleasant or neutral to listen to. So, ang sound is kanang nindot siya paminawon, like di siya samok sa dunggan. Unlike sa noise, when sound becomes disruptive, annoying, or unwanted, we start to call it noise. Noise is simply any sound that we don't want to hear it or that interferes with what we're doing. Kanang makasama bitaw like natugta and kanang ugnay too much bitaw nga sound nga which is kanang noise kanang dili ta kanang disturbo ang atong tug or kanang nagtuon ba nga na di ta ka concentrate og tuon tungod sa noise. For example, kanang sa city, kanang og napuyo ka sa city, na used to na ka sa kanang traffic noise. So if magtuon ka nga na murag kanang normal na para sa imuha. While to others nga kanang came from kanang laing lugar nga dili city, walay traffic sa ilaha. So if they go here and kanang makadungog bitaw sa traffic noise, like irritating kayo sa ilang paminaw. So mahimo na siyang noise pollution para nila. So, we must remember that noise is a type of sound and noise, but not all sounds are considered noise. For example, kanang rock music So, ang uban ganahan og rock music, especially katong na mga fan og nga ni nga type of music. Pero ang uban like kanang mga oldies na kanang nga prefer nila nga kanang na sila sa quiet nga lugar, kanang mabitay kanang banha. So, for them, ang rock music is kanang irritating na noise na siya. Pero sa uban nga ganahan og rock music, kanang nindot to sa ilang paminaw. So, it's a sound for them. While to the oldies, it's a noise. So, magdepende ra jud ang noise sa preference sa katao. So, what one person considers noise, like loud rock music, might be enjoyable for another, but when noise starts affecting concentration, sleep, or peace, is usually regarded as pollution. So, mahimo na siyang pollution if kanang makasamok na siya sa pag-concentrate sa tao, sleep, or unsay kanang whatever nga gibuhat sa katao. Mahimo na siyang pollution ng sound. So, we know that noise can be annoying, but how does it actually impact us? So, let's dive into the real effects of noise pollution on our lives and health.
Impacts of noise pollution. Noise pollution makes men irritable. The effects of noise pollution is multifaceted and interrelated. The effects of noise pollution on human beings, animals, and property are as follows. Hearing impairment. There is a general agreement that exposure to sound levels less than 70 decibels does not produce hearing damage, regardless of duration of exposure. There is also general agreement that exposure for more than 8 hours to sound levels in excess of 85 decibels is potentially hazardous. So, lack of concentration. The noise of the traffic or the loud speakers of different types of horns divert the attention of the people working in offices. Deficits in concentration can lead to accidents. Fatigue. Because of noise pollution, people cannot concentrate on their work. Thus, they have to give more time for completing their work and feel tired. Abortion. There should be cool and calm atmosphere during pregnancy. Sudden noise causes abortion in females. It can also cause mental illness. Noise pollution may cause or contribute to the following adverse effects: anxiety, stress, nervousness, nausea, headache, emotional instability, sexual impotence, changes in mood, and other triggers. It can also cause heart attacks. Exposure to noise activates nervous and hormonal response, leading to temporary increase in blood pressure, heart rate. So, temporary or permanent deafness. Continued exposure to noise level above 80 to 100 decibels is unsafe. Loud noise causes temporary or permanent deafness. Aggressive behavior. Noise above 80 decibels may increase aggressive behavior. So, effect on vegetation, poor quality of crops, causes poor quality of crops in an unpleasant atmosphere. Effects on animals. Damages the nervous system of animals. Animal loses the control of its mind. They become dangerous. So, noise can have detrimental effects on animals by causing stress. Effects on property. It creates waves which shock the walls and put the buildings in danger conditions. Sleep interference. Very high levels of noise can wake people from their sleep. Also in speech interference. Noise more than 50 decibels can be difficult to hear and interpret and cause problems such as partial deafness. Be cautious from today. Blood pressure rise of 5 to 10 millimeter of mercury on 8 hours of exposure to even 70 decibels of sound levels. Hearing loss begins at 80 to 90 decibels. 140 decibels is painful and 180 decibels can even kill a person. Most of the electronic vehicles and motors are above 80 decibels level. High snow levels may interfere with the natural cycles of animals, including feeding behavior, breeding rituals, and migration flights. Level of tolerance. Normal levels of tolerance is 80 decibels. Sound level below and above this is considered to be as noise pollution.
To understand noise pollution better, we have here the measurement of noise. So noise measurement. It is the process of quantifying the level of sound expressed in decibels or dB. Decibels provide a logarithmic scale to represent sound intensity, allowing us to quantify even very large differences in sound power. Accurate noise measurement is essential for understanding the impact of noise on human health, determining risk levels, and designing noise control strategies. It is also vital for regulatory compliance with noise standards. So how do we actually calculate these decibel levels? So let's look at the formula used. We have here this decibel formula. The decibel or dB the decibel scale is logarithmic, meaning each increase of 10 dB represents a tenfold increase in intensity. The formula for calculating sound level in decibels is this formula. As you can see on the screen, we have here L is equals to 10 times the logarithmic of 10 sub 10 multiplied to I divided by I sub 0. We have here the step-by-step guide in calculating the decibel levels. First is we must identify the intensity or the I in the formula. Measure or find the sound intensity level I in watts per square meter. If dili na siya available, wala siya gihatag, you might use typical values for common sounds like whispers, conversations, or loud music. So whisper is we have 30 dB with an intensity close to 10 to the power of negative 9 watts per square meter. Plugging to the formula would yield about 30 decibels. And conversation, we have 60 decibels. Then the intensity is near to 10 to the negative 6 power, and loud music is 120 decibels at around 1 watts per square meter. Step 2 is set the reference intensity or the I sub 0 in the formula. For most calculations related to human hearing, use I sub 0 is equals to 10 to the power of negative 12 watts per square meter. This value represents the lowest sound level the average human ear can detect. And the third step is divide I by I sub 0. Divide the measured intensity by the reference intensity. This step normalizes that intensity to a standard reference level. And the fourth one is calculate the logarithm. Take the base 10 logarithm of the result from step 3. This step compresses the range of sound intensities to a manageable scale. And lastly, we must multiply it by 10. Finally, multiply the result from step 4 by 10. This gives you the sound level in decibels. So we have here the example calculations for further understanding. Let's say you want to find the decibel level of a sound with an intensity 10 to the negative 6 power watts per square meter, around the intensity of normal conversation. So first, identify the intensity we have here, as you can see on the screen. The second one is you must find the reference intensity and divide the two, the intensity divided by the reference intensity. And then the fourth one is calculate the logarithm. Logarithm sub 10 multiplied by 10 to the 6 power is equals to 6. And then lastly is multiply it by 10. So L is equals to 10 times 6. So we have here 60 decibels. So the sound level is 60 decibels typical for a normal conversation. Now, let's consider how different levels of noise can affect our hearing and general well-being. So we have here noise levels and human response. How the human ear perceives noise. The ear perceives sound on a scale from soft to loud. Higher decibels levels indicate greater sound pressure, which can lead to discomfort or even pain and hearing loss. Decibel levels are sound levels categorized into low, moderate, and high intensity with specific impacts on human health. We have a table here. As you can see on the screen, we have noise level 0 to 30 decibels. Examples are whispering, leaves rustling, and the effect on human health is no significant impact, and the risk level is safe. And the next one is 31 to 60 decibels. Examples are normal conversations, rainfall, and the effect on human health is comfortable, no hearing risk, and the risk level is safe. And the next one is 61 to 90 decibels. Examples are traffic and power tools. The effects on human health is possible discomfort. Long-term exposure can cause hearing damage, and the risk level is moderate risk. Next is 91 to 120 decibels. We have the examples concerts and sirens. And the effects on human health is risk of hearing damage, particularly with prolonged exposure, and the risk level is high risk. And the last one is 121 or above decibels. For examples like jet engine or fireworks, it can cause immediate pain, potential for permanent hearing loss, and the risk level is severe risk. It is the unsafe for all. And we have here the damage risk criteria for hearing loss of OSHA, or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. So we have here the maximum allowable duration per day and sound pressure level in decibels. So for 8 hours, for 90 decibels, the maximum allowable hour is only 8 hours. And for 92 decibels, we have 6 hours. And 95 decibels is only for 4 hours. And 97 decibels is for 3 hours. And 100 decibels is only for 2 hours. And then 102 decibels is for 1.5 hour. And 105 decibels is only for 1 hour. And 107 decibels is only for 0.75 hours, and 110 decibels is only for half an hour, and 115 decibels is only for 0.25 hours. For more ni siya ang maximum nga dapat ka ma-expose sa ngani nga sound pressure level. For example, ang sound pressure level is 95 decibels. Na-expose ka for example 6 hours. Pero ang maximum aning nakabutang is only for 4 hours. So you might kanang mabungol ka, it can cause you permanent hearing loss. So according to Occupational Safety and Health Administration, hearing loss can begin with long exposure to sounds above 85 decibels. Their standards require protection and noise control measures to reduce prolonged exposure to high noise levels to prevent hearing damage. Knowing this damage criteria helps us understand when we need to protect ourselves. But what are the standards set to keep noise pollution in check? So let's look at the noise pollution standards. We have the table represents the CPCB, or the Central Pollution Control Board. We have in rural areas 25 to 35 decibels, and in suburban areas we have 30 to 40 decibels. In residential urban we have 35 to 45 decibels, and in urban residential and business 40 to 50 decibels, and in city 45 to 50 decibels, and lastly in industrial we have 50 to 60 decibels. So countries and organizations like the WHO and OSHA set guidelines to limit exposure in residential, industrial, and commercial zones, often specifying maximum allowable noise based on area type and time of day. So to make this more practical, let's work through some sample problems to see how we apply these measurements and standards. We have here the sample problems. In problem number 1, construction site noise. A construction site near a residential area emits a noise level with an intensity of 10 to the negative 6 power watts per square meter. Calculate the sound level in decibels and explain its impact on human health according to the chart. Also provide a recommendation for using noise exposure. So as you can see on the screen, you can pause it to around matanawan ninyo ang calculations sa decibel level. So we have here the decibel formula and identify the intensity and the reference intensity, and then proceed to the calculation using the formula, and the result is 60 decibels. So the interpretation is sound level is 60 decibels. Based on the chart katong ganina, ang 60 decibels is normal conversation or rainfall, and the effect on human health is comfortable, no immediate hearing risk, and the risk level is safe for brief exposure but could cause discomfort with prolonged exposure. And the recommendation is for the residents, since the noise level is close to moderate risk, residents could keep windows closed during high noise activities or use earplugs if they are sensitive to noise. For construction site, install temporary noise barriers to further reduce the noise impact on nearby homes. So we have here problem number 2. You can just pause it and kanang practice of try to solve this and provide the interpretation and recommendation. And the next one is we have problem number 3, the loud concert. You can just pause it too and calculate the decibels level and the sound level and provide the interpretation and recommendation. So that's it. We've seen how to measure and evaluate noise levels. But what can we actually do to reduce noise pollution? So unsa may itong buhaton para ma-solve, unsa itong buhaton para minusan ang noise pollution. So let's go over some practical solutions or reductions for noise pollution.
Solution or reduction of noise pollution. Noise pollution can be significantly reduced with effective strategies across different settings, personal protective measures, and regulation. Through awareness, infrastructures modification, and responsible community planning, the harmful effects of noise pollution can be managed, benefiting both individual well-being and community harmony. So we have first one here, noise mitigation in industrial and public settings. We have soundproofing machineries while building soundproof rooms or enclosures for noisy machineries, using silencers and mufflers. So motors, vehicles should be equipped with silencers to reduce engine and exhaust noise, relocating noise producing facilities such as airports, railway stations, residentials. Also, we have growing green plants and trees. Planting greenery along roadsides around buildings acts as a natural sound barrier or absorber. So we have the second one. We have noise control and transportation. So we have parts of it, the regulation of vehicle horns, banning jarring, multi-tone, or excessive loud horns. Also the engine and exhaust maintenance, ensuring vehicles and engines are properly maintained can prevent excess noise from exhaust gases. Noise barriers along highways, installing sound barriers along highways and high traffic roads reduces the noise reaching nearby areas. So we have the third one, regulations of public noise sources. So we have the parts, the loudspeakers and public announcement control. Enforcing laws that restrict loudspeakers usage, especially during night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Also the event noise limitation, limiting the sounds levels of public events and ensuring compliance with noise restriction. Fourth, we have the personal protection, uses of ear protection, wearing earplugs, ear muffs when exposed to loud environments, such as construction sites, concerts. In festas, we have discos. We also avoid prolonged exposure, minimizing time spent in loud environments like noisy sports, also in discos. Home appliance maintenance. Regularly check and maintain household appliances, especially those with rubber insulation. So we have the fifth one, community and urban planning. Choosing residential location wisely. For those purchasing a new home, it's advisable to consider the home distance from the noise sources, such as airports. Bana kayo siya. So, also in community awareness and education, educating the public on the risks of noise pollution and methods to reduce personal exposure encourages community-wide efforts to lower noise pollution levels. We have the sixth one, noise monitoring and law enforcement. Implementing noise standards. So the government can set noise standards in residential, commercial, industrial zones. Promoting low noise technology, supporting the development of use of quieter machineries, appliances, and vehicles helps reduce overall noise in public and private spaces. So we have legal protections against noise pollution in the Philippines. We have the first one, Local Government Code of 1991, the Republic Act number 7160, allows local governments to set noise regulation, impose curfews, and fine violators. We have the second one, the Anti-Nuisance Law, classifies excessive noise as a nuisance, allowing affected individuals to file complaints if it disrupts peace. So we have the environmental laws, the Clean Air Act of the 1999, Republic Act 8749, primarily focused on air but also addresses noise, empowering the DNR to set standards for noise levels in different areas. We have the fourth one, the National Building Code, Presidential Decree number 1096, requires soundproofing in buildings like nightclubs to reduce noise in the residential areas. So these are the remedies for noise disturbance. So muna imong himuon if in case wala ka kahibaw sa imong buhaton. So we have the barangay mediation. The first step in addressing a noise disturbance is to often seek mediation through barangay. So, sumbong ka sa itong barangay tanod, like if wala nang mag-karaoke, di ba? If lapas ng curfew, maybe we can solve the problem peacefully. So, aradyo ka sa barangay, maguna. Also, we have the second one, filing a nuisance complaint. If mediation fails, the affected party can file a nuisance complaint in court under the civil code. Also, third one, request for local ordinance enforcement. Local governments may have specific noise control ordinances in place. Fourth one is the DNR involvement. For noise pollution related to environment concerns, such as industrial or large activities, the DNR called upon to investigate and enforce relevant provisions under the Clean Air Act. Conclusion: noise pollution is a serious but often overlooked issue impacting both physical and mental health. It disrupts daily life, can lead to long-term health problems. Effective management needs a mix of individual actions, community involvement, and government regulations, such as soundproofing, noise ordinance. Addressing noise pollution requires education, policy enforcement, and technology to create a healthy, quieter environment for all. So that's it. That's all for noise pollution. Thank you for listening, and we hope we help you understand noise pollution and its effect on our lives. Thank you.